Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak. Coming to you from the X-Axis, it's John of All Trades with your host, John X.
Welcome to this John of All Trades podcast promo. Each Wednesday, I bring you a brand new interview with someone fascinating and ask the question we all ask when we meet someone new. Hey, what do you do? It's fun, informative, and it's the 2017 Westward Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Denver Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, and johnofalltrades.us.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Ed Kramer, CGI artist from Industrial Light and Magic. I worked on the Scarabs from The Mummy, the Rock Monster from Galaxy Quest, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to the Real Nerds Podcast. Unofficially
the official
you son of a bitch. Unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2019, which is very, very soon.
2 weeks from now.
And beyond. I am a host, James, and I am joined as sometimes by
Brad.
And
the guy who's not in the middle of a power struggle.
And,
but also Zach.
And Ryan is not here, which is why I started it, and I jumped it into the middle of us having a conversation about Roland Emmerich's Godzilla, which is fine. It's fine. It's just fine. There's some fun stuff in there. It's fine. It's actually great, and then the third act happens with like the vaudevillian velociraptors, and that part's not great. But the rest of it is fine.
Was Roland Emmerich a big fan of The Simpsons? Because like nearly everybody from The Simpsons is in that movie.
Yes.
It's pretty.
I have to assume so. Yes.
It's pretty astounding how many people he got into that room.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that Animal had in fact been played by Animal from the Muppets. But other than that, I think it's great.
Godzilla.
I have to buy the Blu-ray because Brooks really likes like big monster movies, which was surprising.
And you're gonna show her that one?
Well, I own all of them.
Oh, okay.
Like I own all the great, except for like some of the historical ones that are, you know, probably really good.
You don't have the original Godzilla?
No, I think I have that one.
Okay.
What I mean is like I don't have, you know, the 10,000 story tall woman or like some of those ones.
Attack of the 50-foot woman?
Right, like some of those ones that are like old films that might actually be good classics.
Them.
You know, I've never seen. Yeah, Them is a good example. I've never
one.
seen them. Yeah.
You should tell her it's a prequel to King of the Monsters coming out next month.
Oh God. Well, no, she's seen the real prequel to King of the Monsters.
But you should be like, did you know that this is also in the same universe?
Actually, yeah. This one's gonna have Matthew Broderick reprising his role as an asshole.
But James, the studio says Columbia Pictures, and I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers Pictures is doing the new ones.
Things changed hands over between the 90s and now.
Don't pay attention to him.
That's the problem.
Just don't pay attention.
You
to
educated Brooks
yeah.
way too much.
Hedge him out. Oh, you're on the wires. I'm hearing you.
You educated her too much in movies, so now she's gonna know the difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, Godzilla. It's fine.
Yeah.
Every week we go see a movie and podcast our experience to the world. Most of the weeks I don't smack the board like that, but don't worry, Brad. I didn't.
You're quickly regressing. It's like you've never done podcasting before.
That board's been a bad boy, hasn't it, James?
We need to get through Comic-Con with this thing. So don't screw it up.
But yeah, this week we went and saw John Wick Part 3 Parabellum, a film that tells you what the word parabellum means.
Oh, yeah.
It's a documentary, basically.
Yes, exactly.
So at the end we will review that. We'll talk about whether you should see it and play the trailer, and then we'll spoil it. He shoots people in the fucking face. Like, there's nothing to spoil here. But
there's
we'll spoil
kind of some spoilers if you're really into the world, which we'll get into.
There's one spoiler, and I'm going to spoil it right now, which is that they just announced they're going to make a fourth one. So that's the only spoiler.
Sure.
Like, other than that, there's nothing else you can really say about this.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
in the
we'll get
review.
there.
Yeah. You said it was a documentary, and I was just like, on Netflix, it's just called Making a Murderer. That's what.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Making a assassin.
So yeah, we'll do that. And we'll also talk about movie news and what we've been watching and other stuff. But first,
Other stuff.
Brad, what's going on around town?
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
I don't know. I think the drive-in is still doing Detective Pikachu, Endgame, and Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's a great one.
So
Nice.
I might try to check that out.
Full of eye-popping madness.
I have a very important question. How do they divide up the ticket costs for reporting, specifically, for Endgame? What percentage of my money goes to Endgame? What do I have to do? We're so close. What do I have to do to get Endgame? Just that there's like 170 million left. It's so close.
You need to convince the rest of the world to get back in the theater because, boy, have they dropped the ball.
I mean, it was like $30 million just domestically this last weekend. Like,
I did the calculation this morning of...
Did you?
Yeah.
I just looked at the numbers. I didn't actually...
I was looking at the Force Awakens draw over like time,
Uh-huh.
and if it does like 1 million a day towards the end of its run,
Yeah.
possibly. But they have 200 million to go, and
yours
now
also-
171.
next week they'll do 15, and the week after that they'll do 8.
Will they, though? I guess Aladdin.
But that's domestically. That's
Yeah.
domestically.
Yeah, domestic's not the goal here. The goal is Avatar's worldwide.
Right. Like, if domestically they
But
can
it's
squeeze
screwed
out
up.
another 60.
It's screwed up because China, they started with 685, and the second week they did like 285. So, yeah.
God damn. How do we gotta get that? How do we talk to the Chinese people? And don't say in Chinese. Like, we have.
Well, you
we have
ruined the
to
joke.
we have to reach out and appeal to them in some way.
Well, they're angry at us for other reasons.
Yeah,
so I don't think
you
they're
know
going to
what?
listen to us.
All right. I was literally the first thing that went in my mind was
We're not a
we
political show, but let's just say there's
we could
other things
repeal
going
all
on.
that dumb shit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, all right.
Also,
God damn
maybe
it.
we should have had some Asian representation in the movie.
No.
And Benedict Wong doesn't count because
If
that's only
any-
one moment.
Yeah.
If we know anything, it is now that James Cameron is in league with Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump has been passing laws in order to keep Avatar at number one. It's a conspiracy. It's true. This is real life shit, people.
That's
Is there no evil he will not stoop to?
That's both hilarious and depressing all at once. Like, you've managed to make me both.
He slanders real people in his Titanic film, and now he has used the American people in order to keep his status. It is unbelievable.
It was certainly an interesting long con, one that I didn't see coming.
I'm not okay.
I know you're not.
Anyway, okay, sorry.
You have to take it upon yourself to do what I've done and seen it 9 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at least
Once in IMAX,
Yeah.
which ended up being like $40.
You know what you do? You don't even have to waste your time. You just pay for a bunch of tickets every day on Fandango. Don't have to go.
This is fair. If we could just get enough people to just buy a ticket, you
Yeah.
don't have to spend the 3 hours.
Endgame needs a Kickstarter.
If everyone in China just bought one more ticket,
The Endgame Kickstarter to beat Avatar.
this is great. Maybe they'll re-release it. That's what they need to do.
Kevin Feige
Disney-
makes a dumb pitch video
You know
on his
what?
phone.
Disney needs to just re-release it in a few months because Avatar's number includes its re-release.
That's right.
So
Oscar,
Disney just
Oscar season re-release.
Yeah,
they won't
Disney
get
just
nominated,
needs-
but they can get a re-release.
right. But if in the fall, like if around Spider-Man, they put it back in theaters for a month, and they can just get $100 million, they win. Like they have to, right?
They need 180.
Come
so.
on, We 170,
I think
but they can make the other 70 in the next 2 months. The movie's still going to be in theaters for a while.
You come out with an additional version with never before seen footage in IMAX 3D.
The 4-hour cut.
I mean, I would see it.
Actually, you know what they should do is do screenings with Infinity War and Endgame together.
Mm-hmm. And then
So
that
you
was
just roll one into the other.
Yeah,
but yes, but that's a niche market. Like the people who are going to go watch 6 hours of
People went to the 15-hour, 22-hour.
yeah, but that was one theater per city. I guess that
This is way shorter than all those marathons.
fair.
I mean,
fair.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
I were to
I'll see that
recreate
they
it
do it.
live at a community theater,
I would
would
love
that
to
count
see it
towards
that
the box
way.
office?
No.
Okay.
What the
I had an idea, but now it's gone.
The thing they should do is just re-release it next to Spider-Man and get an extra $100 million. And
It worked for Captain Marvel.
yeah, it worked for fucking Avatar.
You'd seem to think that they won't do that. I think that.
No.
I mean, the movie's going to be around for a while because they know they can keep it around, even
Yeah.
if it's just 1 or 2 showtimes a day come July.
I fully hope that that's what they do. I need this.
It's hard.
I
It's,
just
it's
need
gonna
this.
Hemorrhage theaters because you got Aladdin coming up and Men in Black.
Right.
And
No, it is.
Yeah.
And if Lion King is destined to be what everyone's tracking it to be, it may be the one to beat Avatar for all we know.
But if you're Disney, this is your shot.
They own
There's-
Avatar.
There's gonna be
Yeah,
a
exactly.
window.
What's the sense?
They
Their
own
own
the
movie.
record now.
They don't own the rights to Avatar. They just have it in their park.
I'm pretty sure they bought everything and the soul
Avatar
of
was
Rupert
Fox.
Murdoch when they bought that company.
Oh, you're right. It was Fox.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
So it doesn't matter. Disney wins no matter what. So this is just about
Yes.
James Cameron at this point.
But if you could then have ads that say it's the highest grossing film of all time, wouldn't you then get even more money? Like
Yes.
if you could get that extra 150 million, could you then get another 150 million on top of that? Like, yes, you've got to do a marketing campaign, blah blah blah. It's going to cost you.
If we didn't have the internet where people bitch about everything all the time, I think we would have already passed the record by now.
You make me sad.
It's not. I'm hate
I
to be the
literally
bearer
think
of
it's gonna
bad
end
news.
at like 28-34, like 40 million short of the record. Like that's what I feel like it's gonna happen.
You know what we could do? We could rob a casino and then give it directly to Disney. So we need to call in George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Can't get Bernie Mac. We can also
Wow! Wow!
I
If it
love
had been
Bernie
a
Mac.
holiday release, it might have done better because like Force Awakens and Avatar were both over the holiday, and they
Yeah.
both have the
That's
largest
true. If it
totals.
was a December release,
Yeah,
and then
It was it was a great window. Like nobody's going to argue that it hasn't done well.
yeah.
you know what they should have done? Release it a week before when there was absolutely nothing.
That's the problem. We're talking about marginal money when it comes to a release. Like you're
For
talking
a
about
petty record that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, like yes, but it's a petty record that an asshole has for a shitty film.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're getting none of that money. So why do you care that much?
A film you once loved.
Hey, a film I once put at number 6.
I've got news for you. Bob Iger is going to be just fine.
Out of the 300, 400 movies that came out that year,
And
Top
it's
10.
it's a fun movie. It's a good movie. It's just not the best film. Of all
It's
time.
not even the top 10.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, yeah. So sorry.
The drive-in.
Detective Pikachu.
yeah,
Detective Pikachu. Endgame. Captain Marvel. Still a long night.
yep,
Yep.
Yeah.
$9, 88 drive-in. Check it out.
Support the drive-in.
So probably like
There you go.
$3.
There was a
to-
news segment recently about
Yeah.
the drive-in where your head popped in at one point.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
news
yeah, yeah.
The news segment.
That news segment thing, I forget. I was trying to actually calculate his little thing because
It's probably not $3 movie because it's probably split up based on which movies are in what order, or maybe not. I don't know.
I think it's a flat rental fee though that just supports backing it. So.
they probably got Captain Marvel and Endgame together as a deal.
Oh,
And
a
then-
BOGO.
Pikachu, and then of course
Yeah.
for the theater to stay open, they probably have to take at least 40%.
yeah.
It's
So-
2 of the 4 Disney movies they bought when joining Disney Movie Club. They got it for a
Okay,
buck.
Yeah, they paid full price for Endgame, but they got Captain Marvel for a penny.
Yeah, exactly. And they got the Goofy movie, which will be coming out in August. There,
Yeah. But they end up paying shipping on that one. It's a real pain in the ass.
Disney Movie Club.
That's
yeah.
about it. Like nothing else really, movie-wise going on.
Cool.
Anything going on at the Bug?
Yeah, the Grawlix is having their next comedy show.
Oh, shit.
Saturday night,
Cool.
May 25th.
Go watch them funny people.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then of course, see us at Denver Denver Pop Culture Con.
If we keep
Live
getting it
and
wrong,
at
they're
our
gonna not let us get inside.
Yeah.
We can barely make the schedule on the website. So
Oh, you can find it. You just don't look in the right sections.
Yeah. You have
to look through everything.
It's Schrodinger's cat. If you're looking for it, it's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, sometimes I see it on my tablet, but on the
There you
desktop, it's never worked.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do? What news?
Sure. Let's unspool some news.
Let's do news.
It's real news.
None of this is in any particular order. Sony, a company that makes films, but also makes video games,
Sure.
has made a company that makes video game films. It's all very incestuous.
I like where you're going with this.
And they've never been lately, not great at films, better at video games. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is a good idea. Basically, they're just making like a PlayStation brand for making their own movies, which hopefully just means they're going to make The Last of Us into a movie.
Who has Uncharted?
So Sony does.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
then-
now whether or not they sold the rights to somebody else, I don't know.
See, that's what I'm
like
wondering.
every time we see the news, like I don't really actually
because technically
pay attention to who owns it.
Tomb Raider's part of them, I think, or is that Warner Brothers?
No. Square Enix owns the rights to. Well, Square Enix is the production.
the Tomb Raider film.
Oh,
I thought it was
right.
like Warner Brothers MGM or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I don't know who owns Lionsgate. I feel like it's a Lionsgate filming.
A
Lionsgate owns
demon.
themselves.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I thought. Well, anyway,
They're part of Summit Entertainment.
The Continental Hotel owns Lionsgate, by the way.
no,
Yes, they do.
I'm gonna throw a rock at your head.
Working on a PlayStation Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, basically. Well, I don't know that they'll actually
So
try
you
for
get, like
that.
Crash Bandicoot
My
plus The Last of Us,
My hope would be that they like
The Piss You.
Gran Turismo.
maybe they take people from the actual video game world who actually give a shit and understand that this stuff, like some of this stuff, is well written and cared for, and make it into good movies. But I don't know how involved they were in like that Ratchet and Clank movie, which was not great. I mean, the Ratchet and Clank movie was basically just a kind of lame, stitched together version of the cutscenes from the first movie or the first game from like 15 years ago.
Like a latter-day
So-
DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, like it was subpar at best.
Also, take that, DreamWorks.
My hope would be that, like, you know, you go get people like an Amy Hennig or a Ken Levine out of the actual video game industry, who are really talented, or the guy whose name I don't remember, who was the director on The Last of Us and now The Last of Us 2. Like, go get those guys to like at least script doctor your stuff, because most of the time the problem, even with like the Tomb Raider movie from last year or 2 years ago, it's fine. But the scripts aren't great.
No.
Like they still end up just kind of falling flat.
It felt like the Tomb Raider movie came out a lot quicker than I thought it would, so I don't know how much time it had to gestate.
And it's too bad because I mean, literally, the story in the video game that they were trying to steal from is a better story.
Until last week, that was the best video game movie I'd seen in terms of quality.
Right? Yeah,
But
of course.
that was beaten last week.
Yeah,
Super Mario Brothers doesn't count because it's a special place in my heart.
and because it's trash.
Yes, but in a good way.
Anyway,
I see you trying to rile me up. I ain't
no,
biting.
that wasn't.
No, I'm
I
backing
wasn't trying
you
to
up.
rile you up at all. Yeah. Anyway, maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good. Hopefully, maybe this is how Sony learns to be better at making movies.
Sure.
Batman. The Batman thing happened this week.
Yeah.
Where they announced that Robert Pattinson is going to be Matt Reeves' Batman.
Well, okay.
Probably.
So
but not
yes,
officially.
Okay, true. He's not
so
signed.
Variety or Hollywood Reporter or whoever broke a story to confirm it, and then everybody else said, well, it's not official yet. So
Right.
somebody jumped the gun and pissed off the internet.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I think it was Matt Reeves that was out there saying that the villains in this movie are going to probably be Catwoman and Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I am most excited because of Matt Reeves, and I hope that my hope is that similar, like whatever mindset led them to make that weird Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie that looks like it's good, you know, and is just its own thing.
It's called Taxi Driver 2.
Whatever that like thought process is what is leading this Batman movie, and that they're going to make like a cool one-off, smart. It is its own thing, Batman, and they have to because like they're gonna make a Wonder Woman sequel and an Aquaman sequel in a universe that no longer has a Batman or a Superman.
I don't think that universe is going to be held together pretty well. At some point, they're just going to forget it.
That's my point. Like if I have any hope in this thing actually being great, it's that they
ignore it together, which sounds like what they're going to do.
Just make a good movie.
It sounds like that's what they're doing anyway, because I see no mention of DCEU being part of that chronology in any article that I read.
Which isn't even was never even an official thing.
No,
so,
it was never an official moniker. I want to say though, the vial going towards Pattinson is ridiculous.
It's because he looks like a foot.
No, he doesn't.
It's because Twilight's really bad and he looks like a foot.
Okay, but
I understand he's a good actor and he's probably going to be amazing.
And that's the thing, and I want to say that out loud. Just because he was in Twilight, which he did for a paycheck, because then he could go off and do the interesting movies which he's been in the past 5-6 years.
He did for a paycheck because he was an actor and it was a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not even like because it was going to buy him a lot of freedom, but
when you do the first one,
going to buy him rent.
But he didn't have to necessarily stay for the entire series. He could have moved away from it.
It's all fun. Twilight is not his fault.
No, it's not.
No one. Yeah.
It's not any of the actor's fault. It's the screenwriter's fault.
Yeah.
It's solely the screenwriter. The director has nothing to do with it either.
Because if I hold Twilight against Robert Pattinson, I have to hold it against Anna Kendrick, and that's not okay.
Well, that's
and Billy Burke.
Oh God, Billy Burke.
I can't be mad at Billy Burke.
Love Billy Burke.
So clearly,
but
Robert Pattinson doing just fine.
If you need confirmation that he can get down into the dirt, go watch Good Time, that movie that Henry put on his top 10 from 2 years ago. And go see, I mean, I still don't know if I like it or not, but go see High Life because he's really good in High Life. He's not the reason why I don't know if I like the movie or not. It's everything else in the movie.
No.
He's really good. I know he can do it. I know he can go to a dark place. And also, like, we've bitched about who's going to play Batman before. Remember the Affleck controversy of 2013?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is the
same
all, conversation. Over and over.
Time is a continuous loop.
Now, what it isn't is what Brad wanted, which was a no-name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired of them picking controversial choices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been
I
me.
think Christian Bale's like the only one who hasn't gotten any heat for playing Batman before he's played Batman, so.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was so long ago. I can't even.
Yeah.
I think there was enough good clout around Christopher Nolan that, everybody was like, yeah, sure.
I think
why not?
But I think Val Kilmer?
I
don't remember anything.
Probably. I mean, that was probably controversial just because people were pissed that Keaton wasn't in it, right?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That it was going to be a Joel Schumacher dance film.
I think with Bale and Nolan at that point, they were like, well, it can't get any worse, right?
Right, that's true.
That's
that
basically
where
where you're standing on.
Yeah.
The reason Affleck was controversial is because you're coming off of Nolan, so.
And part of why you then have that controversy on Heath Ledger because now people had something to lose, or it was like, oh man, we had this really great Batman Begins movie, and you're gonna fuck it up with Heath Ledger as the Joker? What?
You're gonna get the Brokeback actor to do it?
Is this a Knight's Tale? Come on, yeah. Anyway, but
if I know the internet, they were more complaining about the Brokeback element of it.
What would you want it to be, Brad?
Oh shoot. I don't really have.
Besides good.
Yeah, obviously, I want it to be good, but also I don't have expectations for it. I just want them to make a satisfying Batman movie. This isn't a choice that makes me like, oh man, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's also a choice that means that I gotta listen to all these controversial nerd rants for the next 8-9 months.
Petition.
Yeah, I almost wish it was. I almost wish they would just take a break. I wish there was just a chance because this is exhausting.
We're gonna do an actual noir detective story like the comics, and you're gonna have all the characters, but they're not gonna be super villains, know.
And the Penguin and Catwoman both could fit into that, right? If you treat Catwoman like a cat burglar, and you treat the Penguin like a really gross crime lord, this can very much be. And the fact that they've announced them in quotes doesn't necessarily mean that that's the plot of the film. It could be that the Penguin is involved. There's some kind of a mystery, cool thing. That sounds like a great film, right?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. I want Egghead in the movie.
I want Calendar Man.
Condiment King.
Yeah.
Go watch the
Crazy
Lego
Quilt.
Batman movie.
What?
Crazy Quilt.
Crazy Quilt, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see.
Doug Benson as Bane.
Yeah, and it's really early, and
Yeah, who knows?
I hope they do something. They show something cool so that this can kind of fall by the wayside.
William Shatner as Two-Face. Because he did that cartoon.
I'm gonna turn his mic off.
No,
Do it.
Don't do it. You know I have good ideas. Wait, Brad, no.
We got a trailer for Angel Has Fallen.
The
The
international market's a wonderful thing, isn't it, James?
An Olympus Has Fallen third film. That Henry in our little group text was like, how are they making another one of these? And I'm like, because the first movie was so good that even the second one couldn't kill it. Like,
and also they pre-sold a shit ton of can.
but then of course I watched the trailer and I'm like, really, you went and got Morgan Freeman to play the president? Like, what is Aaron Eckhart doing? Why?
We don't allow him to do anything fun anymore. Do you understand that?
I understand that if for Aaron Eckhart to be in the movie, especially considering that in this case, what's his face looks older. Yeah, Jerry looks older in this movie, and it's clearly supposed to time has passed. But we can have a world where Aaron Eckhart has been the best president for 20 years. It's fine.
Maybe,
it's fine.
You know what? We don't know the movie in full yet. Maybe he paraglides or skydives down at the last minute to save the day.
Aaron Eckhart should be the villain.
Because he got voted out of
He's
office.
disillusioned with
For
democracy.
too many domestic strikes.
No, he should come back at the end and be like, "You undid all my executive decisions with your own executive decisions. This is bullshit."
Now I've got an executive decision for you.
Oh man, and then it's a sequel to Executive Decision.
No, I was going to say they just put on the movie Executive Decision and chill out.
That'd be great. If I showed up and they just showed me Executive Decision, I'd be fine.
My executive decision is to execute.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't look great, but I don't care. I want to see it. It's still, the first one was fun. He should stab some people. The franchise was hurt because then we got John Wick movies, and now I get plenty of terrible violence.
You know what?
But at the time, watching him just stab people a lot was great.
The second Die Hard isn't a great movie. So I'm just saying the third one might be the...
This is the Simon Says of
Yes.
of the Fallen franchise.
The Die Hard with a Vengeance of the
the Has
Presidential
Fallen.
Bodyguard trilogy.
Angels Fallen with a vengeance.
Oh man,
Live free or fall.
Live free or fall hard. A good day to fall hard.
Brad, Chris Rock is rebooting Saw. What does this mean?
You speak like Brad's the only Saw fan.
I hate to say it, but it seems like someone's watching Jordan Peele's career and trying to.
Wow. Wow, that's a burn.
That's pretty good. Oh man,
It's out of left field.
It's really weird.
I'm gonna take it in a different direction. I think when you have Danny McBride and David Gordon Green doing such an amazing job with the Halloween reboot, it's not unheard of for a comedian who might be a fan of a series to have an idea for it.
Totally.
And I would never say that Saw and Halloween are in the same league at all whatsoever. However, I would be very fascinated to see what they do. I kind of wish it wasn't so soon after the failure of that Jigsaw, that first reboot, which was just Jigsaw.
Was that actually like a reboot? I didn't watch
soft reboot, like super
it should
soft.
be a sequel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like
actually it's a prequel.
It's like sort of same universe, but a different take on it. Or something.
Yeah, it's technically a prequel, but it's also a sequel. Didn't
they already do that in like the second movie? Or
They've
the
done
third
it in a lot
movie?
of movies.
All the movies, it kind of has like a time distortion of you get to the end and realize it's they've been dead for 4 months.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck!
Yeah, so it's
You've just been watching that period where they were alive.
the production company's called Twisted Pictures, and they say what they mean. Those movies are twisted because there's
Sure.
a lot of twists in them. I mean, I'm curious, and they've got the bigger thing though is that they got Darren Lynn Bousman coming back, which I think is good for the franchise. If you've got a guy who actually knows how to make a pretty good horror movie behind that helm, then you're all set. That's not to discredit the guys who did the later ones. It's just that they aren't as scary as the ones Bousman did. So, and I mean, outside of getting James Wan to come back, this is the best possible scenario.
Is Chris Rock going to play Jigsaw?
I doubt so. However, I mean, I would love for him to play a detective who's corrupt. That'd be fun. He could be his character Butters from Lethal Weapon 4.
He could be Danny Glover's son in the first movie.
Oh. I like that.
He could be secretly having a child with Danny Glover's daughter from the first movie. Danny Glover's in it.
Yeah, because Lethal Weapon 4.
Lethal Weapon 4.
And then Jet Li is Saw. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, Jet Li plays a Saw, not the killer Jigsaw. He just plays a circular Saw.
This just sucks though, because that means Jerry Seinfeld's reboot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't going to fucking happen. Because if this fails, he won't get to do his.
It's terrible.
What's the deal with that chainsaw?
So Disney has full control of Hulu now, so we'll have 2 of those platforms.
Does that mean they get rid of all the good shows on there, like Handmaid's Tale and fucking Castle Rock and whatever the shit?
Hopefully they just roll it all into one Disney Plus subscription thing.
I don't think Disney's going to have the balls to have something like Handmaid's Tale on their fucking platforms and shit.
Hopefully Hulu just gets to die.
Okay. But I don't want that show to die, so...
Well, then it can move somewhere else. I just don't...
Okay.
Hulu, the inventors of, hey, what if you paid us money and you watched the same commercial 6 times in a row, I've just never gotten over it. Hey. I'm sure it's better now, but...
Don't worry, their son CBS All Access is doing just fine.
Fuck. Speaking of which... Oh, no, this is NBC. Never mind. NBC's doing fine. They renewed This Is Us for 3 seasons. I've never heard that before for a, network.
3 additional seasons on top of what they've already got?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes. Not they renewed them for a 3rd season. That's behind us. They renewed them for as many seasons in the future as they have made in the past.
They're only on their 2nd season?
No. They just finished their 3rd season.
Oh, that means they're going to end it just like Lost, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably a thing where they pitched... Because it's a half-season show, or, a traditional season, right? It's a 12-season show, 11, 12-episode show. It's probably a thing where they went and pitched, okay, we want to do this arc, this arc, this arc, and in order to really build this thing and make this, cool, whether or not they ended at 6, I don't know, but I think they clearly pitched for, we want to tell this complete story.
If the last line of the show isn't, "This was us," I'll be pissed.
They've said, "This is us" in the show.
Oh, okay. But they need to say, "This was us."
Yeah.
And then they close a family book.
That's a show that I'll just say now.
I've never watched it, by the way.
I just finished the 3rd season, and I think that show is absolutely killer. And
you
they've
go.
done a really amazing job of not How I Met Your Mothering it. I love that show, but the initial premise of This Is Us has, they've evolved past, and they've the things that they keep as secrets, they have revealed and then introduced new potential threats on life.
You're the second person this week who's made a How I Met Your Mother crack. What does everybody hate the finale or something? Or
Well, yeah, everybody does. They're all wrong.
I didn't hate the finale. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's great.
It was kind of adorable. It's not what I expected, but whatever.
I don't know what else I got.
What else do you got? Because I got 2.
Go ahead. They may be things here that I'm skipping,
Well, they might be. They might.
Daniel Craig delayed the filming of the James Bond film by hurting himself by carrying too much of his own personal baggage onto the set.
You know what? I was gonna say he's trying too hard to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But no, it involved people that aren't with us anymore. But
I
didn't know if you had those on there.
Nope. My last thing is they're making a True Lies TV show. Go ahead.
Wait, True Lies TV show. Go back for a second.
Yeah. Disney Plus is going to have a True Lies TV show on it.
Will someone ride a horse through a town?
We have no idea. They just said
Will Tom Arnold be in it?
Hey, we have the rights for True Lies, so we're going to abuse them.
Will Grant Heslov be in it?
We've thrown all of the... Eliza Dushku is going to reprise her role as an 8-year-old.
If Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, I'm on board. We don't need Arnold. We're fine. He
use
died in a fire.
They're going to use the Aladdin genie tech to make Eliza Dushku an 8-year-old again.
She's going to be blue at first?
No, they're just going to replace her whole body with CG.
Okay. Will she too sing "You Haven't Had a Friend Like Me"?
But her acting will still be stilted. So who died this week? Zach?
We had 2. Tim Conway passed away.
Oh, that's right.
Co-star on the Carol Burnett show. Mainly worked a lot with Harvey Korman. He was also Barnacle Boy on SpongeBob SquarePants. He was on McHale's Navy for years. Actually, he was there for the whole run. I was saddened by that though, because when I was a kid, I actually got to see Harvey Korman and Tim Conway on stage doing their Carol Burnett sketches live. And the dentist sketch, which is the one that gets touted as one of the best, because it is, they did that one on stage live, and it's the only time I ever got to see live and in person what a vaudeville scenario might have looked like back in the day. So I kind of treasured that, and Tim Conway's always kind of been one of those guys I'd watch. Harvey Korman passed years ago, so I don't really believe in heaven, but I'd like to think if there is one, they're headlining a theater there right now. So
that's cool.
But
he did well.
Yeah, dude, big bucket of win. But he was having some health issues in the last couple of years, so I'm glad he's at rest.
Yeah.
And then but the bigger one is Doris Day died.
Yeah.
Big old bucket of win.
We were just talking about the glass bottom boat like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually I really like Calamity Jane, the one that a lot of people kind of point to as like where she became super huge. She does a song called Secret Love in it that I think is great.
Secret Lovers, that one?
No.
Oh.
I had a secret love.
I don't care.
But anyway, she like a huge career that spanned radio, television. She was on Bob Hope's program for years before she ended up like blowing up in film. She's in Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much. Which makes Que Sera Sera like a theme song for Irony. And she kind of like stopped after the 60s and became a activist for animal rights. So big bucket of win there. Clint Eastwood tried to get her out of retirement to be in Sully. And the only role she could have done was an elderly passenger on that plane. So it would have been interesting if he had done that. I can also imagine him yelling at her a lot.
It was his way of hitting on her.
Yeah, but I mean, I like Doris Day a lot. I think actually a lot of people use her as like this example of like how wholesome the 50s were, and I'm like, you watch her films, I'm like, that's not even close to true.
Sure.
Like, it's only because things that happened after the 60s were so extreme that you're making that comparison. And actually, like,
right.
Want to talk about one of our most risque films is probably Pillow Talk with Rock Hudson.
Ooh.
It's a great film.
So. What are they doing on that pillow?
We'll find out in Pillow Talk. But yeah, no, big bucket of win. I think it was like 97. So like, shit, that's a long ass time to live. And she, like Lewis and all those guys who have been passing recently, went through the whole gamut. I think the only thing she didn't do was vaudeville.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
Good for her.
Yeah,
man. Awesome. We have a voicemail from Corinne. Yeah, we know what she's starting something new this week. She started something new last week.
A few weeks ago.
She started something new recently.
James, do you need to retire?
Your mom needs to retire.
Nice. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? She's right up there. You want to go ask her?
No.
Okay.
Hey nerds, Corinne here for part 20.3 of Catching the Classics, which is actually part 3 of Catching the Miyazaki Classics, where I'm going to be going through all of Hayao Miyazaki's filmography, or at least all the movies he's directed. And this week, I'm going to be tackling Castle in the Sky. This was one of the Miyazaki films I hadn't seen, and I liked it. Not as much as I liked Porco Rosso, and even not as much as I liked Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, but, I mean, obviously it's still adorable and a great film. So, quick synopsis for you. Castle in the Sky, which is also sometimes called Laputa Castle in the Sky, is about these two kids. We have Sheeta, who's like, I guess she's 12, like, she and Patu, the boy, are about the same age, and I would guess that they're about 12 years old. But Sheeta has this crystal, and she's being sought after by pirates and the army because of this crystal, and she doesn't really know what it does. And the very first sequence, she's in an airship, and these pirates come to get her, and she's trying to escape, and she ends up falling off of the side of the airship, dirigible, whatever, and she like just falls, hundreds of thousands of feet, and you're like, oh shit. But the crystal ends up saving her, and so it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And that's how she meets Patsu, is that she's falling from the sky. The crystal slows her down, and Patsu grabs her and takes her and cares for her. And so then they end up joining forces whenever the pirates come to find Sheeta and her crystal, and they end up discovering that the crystal is from this city, this castle in the sky, if you will, called Laputa, and it's supposed to be this like mythical place, like it's only kind of legend and hearsay, but Patsu's dad actually got to see Laputa, and so Patsu wants to prove his dad was right. And so anyway, it's just this kind of fun adventure movie, and what can I say about it? So James Van Der Beek plays Patsu, and I personally think it was a weird choice because he sounds so old. Like, Patsu is supposed to be, 12? And James Van Der Beek sounds like a 30-year-old man, which, I mean, his actual performance isn't bad, but again, I think it was just a weird choice. Anna Paquin plays Sheeta, and she didn't do bad either, but I felt like there were times where she was almost like slipping in and out of a British accent, so I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think the real MVP of the voice cast is Cloris Leachman, who plays the head of the pirate gang, and it's kind of similar to what happens in Howl's Moving Castle, where you have this character at the beginning of the movie who's supposed to be the antagonist, but by the second half of the movie, the person ends up being at least not an antagonist, but more of an ally type person, like, just because of circumstances or whatever, they're thrown together. And that's exactly what happens in this movie, is that the pirate gang, which Cloris Leachman, her character, leads, they are trying to kill Sheeta and Patsu at the beginning of the movie. And then when Sheeta, I guess minor spoilers ahead, when Sheeta gets taken by the army, Patsu teams up with the pirates to go find Sheeta. And then when they get Sheeta back, but they lose the crystal, they end up teaming up with the pirates to find Laputa. And it was just kind of weird for me to go from the pirates are trying to kill them to the pirates are like their best friends. At least with Howl's Moving Castle, the Witch of the Waste, which a similar thing happens to her character, where she's the antagonist the first half of the film and she's more of an ally the second half. I mean, at least she didn't try to kill the main character, she just cursed her. But yeah, it was just a kind of jarring transition for me. I mean, it works within the realm of the story because, it's Hayao Miyazaki and everything is just kind of like charming and, you kind of want everybody to team up except for like the super duper mega evil villain who I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, and there were actually some really good sequences once they were on the pirate ship and they were teaming up. There's this really nice moment where Sheeta and Patsu are talking up in like the crow's nest type area of the pirate ship, and everybody else on the ship, the way it's rigged up is they're overhearing the conversation between them because of they have like these little, I don't know, whatever you call them, and they can kind of listen in on what the two of them are saying. So that was actually kind of a cute little sequence. Although, side note, there was this really weird part where it's kind of similar to what happens in Porco Rosso, where the minute that a young lady shows up, like all of these like gross dude pirates, like all of a sudden try to be, polite and well-mannered and social and try to like win her affection, I guess. And it makes sense with Fio in Porco Rosso because she's 17. But here, Sheeta's like 12, and there's this one guy who comes in and he's like, I'm in love with you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please. I know it's just for laughs, but I'm like, ugh, that's weird. I also want to say real quick, obviously the animation's beautiful. There was one sequence though, when they're leaving town, when the pirates start coming in, at the very beginning of the movie, where these people get into a fist fight, and it just feels a little too cartoonish, like too like almost like a Mickey Mouse type of brawl where, logic just goes out the window, and it doesn't feel like Hayao Miyazaki animation. It feels like a cartoon. I guess I don't know how to explain it to you other than that if you've never seen any of his movies, but so yeah, the big bad of the movie, spoilers ahead, is this agent for the government who's played by Mark Hamill, which, I mean, that was probably a good casting choice. The problem for me is he sounds too much like the Joker. I don't know. I feel like Mark Hamill is a really good voice actor because, like, he plays Ozai in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that doesn't sound much at all like the Joker. You can tell that. I mean, maybe you can and maybe you can't tell that it's the same person, but here I feel like you can definitely listen to. Crap, I forget his character's name, but you can definitely listen to Mark Hamill's character and tell that, oh, that's the same guy who plays the Joker. Like, it's too similar. I don't know if that's what the people wanted to have him do, but, I mean, for me, it was just like, he's talking and all I hear is the Joker. So, the big reveal is that when they get to Laputa, the big bad, the evil agent guy takes Sheeta and they go into this part of the city where it's like holding them up and keeping them afloat, and it's this technological masterpiece, and just, they're like, oh, this is going to be great. And we find out that he is actually also a descendant of Laputa, because we find out that Sheeta is like, this descendant, and she's like of the royal line of Laputa, and so is he. And so, yeah, it was, I don't know how I feel about this movie. There were parts of it I really enjoyed, and then there were other parts of it that I was like, okay, can we just kind of wrap this up here? It's 2 hours, but it somehow feels longer than that, I guess because there's so much going on in this movie. Like, the whole first half, they're running away from the pirates, or not even half, first third, they're running away from the pirates. The third, she's like captured or something, and then the whole like last 20-30 minutes, they're in Laputa. And there are two really great sequences with these robots, kind of in like an Iron Giant sort of way, that I was like, oh no, like one of them died, and I'm like, no, how is it that it doesn't have like any personality and it never said anything, but somehow this is more sad than when Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator dies in T2. That's just me though. So yeah. Castle in the Sky, it's not bad, but it's not my favorite Miyazaki movie, and not even my favorite of the ones I hadn't seen before I did the series. If just right now, I think I'd go Porco Rosso, then Nausicaa, and then Castle in the Sky. So, yeah, Castle in the Sky. I'm gonna give it like a B-. By no means is it a bad movie. Again, you have to grade it on like a Miyazaki curve, but I just, I think Porco Rosso is more fun, and I think Nausicaa has, like, better themes and messages, and this one was just kind of like, it's there, and that's not bad, it's just, maybe other people out there enjoy it, but I mean, I don't enjoy it as much as they do, probably. So, anyway, sorry for ranting, but next time I'm going to be talking about Spirited Away, which I have seen before, but it's been a long time. And also, again, once more, I'll do a shout out to your local library. Go check it out. They have lots of cool stuff there. Yeah, definitely worth watching things at the library. So, take care, nerds, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Castle in the Sky. I haven't seen it in probably 15 years.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh.
I'm not Miyazaki
There's
versed.
a castle that flies in the sky.
Well,
it's kind of cool.
Fucking awesome.
She's probably right. I mean, I'm sure if I went back and watched it now, I'd be like, okay, this isn't as good as some of the high art.
I like reading her articles on it too, like in addition to the contributions she's giving to the actual show, because like I kind of like reading about like something I don't know a lot about, and like Miyazaki is certainly something like I admire Miyazaki a lot, but I've only seen like a few examples of his greatness, so it's not because I don't want to.
Yeah,
just other things to watch too.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Also, check out her articles on the Blacklist and the Good Place; they're really good.
Yeah,
and the follow-ups to these on the website too, and her Miyazaki articles, obviously.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway,
this week we saw movies.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Zach, what'd you see? See what I did there? I had you.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go to Blu-rays. So that's why I was confused.
No, we're gonna forget about them by the end.
Don't worry, I'll remember. I actually watched a bunch of stuff. Still continuing Star Trek TNG. I'm halfway through season 6, so I'm almost done with this bitch.
Yeah.
Some
Don't
fun.
call it a bitch.
Except for Yar.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You're just all like,
I know.
what did these Crosby
She's
like
the
smack you
worst.
when you were younger?
She's just not great.
Oh, pshaw. But yeah, I mean, there were some good episodes in there. I like the one where Q finds Picard when he's about to die and has him relive his life all over again. And then he realizes, oh, I shouldn't have made those changes because they defined who I am. And then the Western episode with Data becoming everybody is pretty awesome. I did not remember this one from... Like, most of the episodes when I'm rewatching them, I'm like, I remember, like, a majority of this. This one I did not remember at all. And as the episode was progressing, I'm like, oh, he's turning into everybody. Wait a minute, he's turning into everybody. He's not going to turn into... And sure enough, he turns into a woman by the end of the episode. And it's pretty hilarious. Because he's got a fake bosom on, but there's no, like... he clearly doesn't have a divider between two boobs, so it's just like one single unit. So it's pretty hilarious.
Excuse me. Explain his unit to me again.
Data's unit.
Everything going on in the episode, that's what you latched on to.
everything about because Data unit, everything about that's great. Okay. Everything about this is great.
Don't change a thing. I speak like a moron. What I found interesting about it was that it's directed by Patrick Stewart, but Data's in this episode a lot. I think Brett Spiner actually directed it, and he just used Patrick Stewart's name so that he didn't look like a ham. So, but yeah, lots of fun times there. The Birthright 2-parter was actually really fun. Watching Worf trapped in that prisoner camp was pretty cool. Although it's very clearly, the first part of it is very clearly, please watch DS9, please watch DS9, please watch DS9. Dr. Bashir's here, please watch DS9. And then the second part is very much a Worf episode, which actually leads into a documentary that I saw with Brad called What We Left Behind, a look back at Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I didn't know if you wanted to tag team this one or not, or if you wanted to just wait to give your own thoughts.
Yeah.
You want to wait? Okay, cool. I like the doc. I barely...
He'd rather not share airtime with you.
I have a completely different opinion than you.
So. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Well, I love the film. So, I barely remember Deep Space Nine. I have watched it, but I watched it mainly in the background of stuff, and or also drunk, stoned, and high. So, but I remembered a lot more of the show than I thought I did because the way they were going through everything, I was like, oh yeah.
One of those things that even if you didn't intensely watch it, you are aware of the big sweeping things.
Like Avery's whole thing, like I just like what was fascinating to me was how many individual subjects they tackled in terms of certain character traits. So Ira, the guy who was the showrunner on DS9, he was also a showrunner on Homeland, and he talked about how you can't do who was the character again? I see this is one of those parts where I can't remember. The terrorist.
Kira.
Kira. Yeah, you can't do Kira anymore the way they did Kira back then, because the example he gave was there was a character on Homeland that is basically the same thing, but they couldn't keep going with him because it would have been too difficult to portray in a sympathetic light, given that we're in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah, where they used to be a terrorist and now they're not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You basically can't do that anymore, which I thought was fascinating. They got into Captain Avery's character. They got into Captain Avery a lot, which I appreciated, but the one thing that I was very astounded by was how the documentary as a format for them was kind of like fluid, and they would just interrupt whenever they damn well pleased to kind of break the fourth wall. So it was like actually very much just a celebration of that show. They have the guy who played Quark singing a lounge song at the beginning of the movie, and then they have him and a quartet of other actors who played Ferengi on the show singing a ballad at the end. It's a very warm, loving time to celebrate DS9 and how it was very unfairly maligned at the time of its release. Basically because you're coming off of TNG and it's space
trying to do something different.
It's space politics, and I think it's exactly what you need to do with Star Trek nowadays too, because it's actually discussing the themes that make Star Trek unique compared to any other sci-fi property. Because it creates that whole world, and it
ended up leading into the sort of serialized television that is now very prominent.
And they addressed
that. Also ended up kind of killing Star Trek on television.
Yeah, and they addressed that in the documentary, how they were ahead of their time, but how it was also kind of like a death blow for them to a certain degree. But the trick of this film is that it also talks about what if they were given a season 8, and without spoiling anything, it would have been pretty interesting. They have Ron Moore in the room, and it's pretty fun. So,
cool.
But yeah, and then watch that. I went through some Cary Grant films because Ryan's bug has bitten me.
Sure.
So I rewatched To Catch a Thief.
We're gonna spin them off on their own fucking podcast, right? Holy fuck!
Gabbing about Grant.
To Catch a Thief is amazing.
I can't believe there's still like 30 movies left. Still,
I know. To Catch a Thief is like one of my favorite Hitchcock films,
and I loved it, but I've never like gone back to it because it's not a Hitchcock film that I think about when I think about Hitchcock.
It has my favorite Hitchcock dick joke, like dirty old man dick joke.
Mm-hmm.
The one where they're walking in and she had some line like, he's talking about him selling timber.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm sure you tell all the girls that all your trees are sequoias.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I enjoyed rewatching it. I like when Hitchcock is light on his feet and not like necessarily steeped in a bunch of darkness.
He's always pretty heavy.
Because he always had a great sense of humor, and so it's fun when he's like actually making a comedy. Like if you watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith, his film from the 40s with Carole Lombard, it's a fun film. It's just it's not necessarily a traditional Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
But I really liked Grant and Kelly, and obviously they're great. Grace Kelly's mother in the movie, Joyce Randall Landis, as Mrs. Stevenson, is one of my favorite rediscoveries ever. She is super funny in that movie, playing Grace Kelly's mother. Every line just like solid, on point. I love when Grace Kelly wants to turn Cary Grant in to the police. She's just like, whatever, I'm going to let him escape. They come back and he's escaped, and she's just reading a book and going like, "What? What did I do?" And then Grace Kelly goes, "The book's upside down, mother."
Yeah, that's really good.
And so yeah, that was fun. And then I rewatched Notorious, which is Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman, also directed by Hitchcock. I've watched this film a couple of times, and this is the first time where I was really, really focusing on the Claude Rains character, because I think every time I've watched it, I was always so interested in Ingrid Bergman's role in the film, and just kind of basically how, because of her past and her substance abuse, it weaves a web of like, can we believe anything she's saying by the time you get to her being poisoned slowly by the family? But like Claude Rains in that film is pretty fucking magnificent. I love him in Casablanca. It's like still one of my favorite roles he's ever done. This is probably like the second best, just because it's a weird mama's boy who's also trying to overthrow the world. Like it's very strange and fun, and it's still one of the like darkest and yet happiest endings in a Hitchcock movie, which is just they drive off and Claude Rains has to go back inside and those doors shut. It's pretty fucking fantastic. And then I hopped off the Grant train and went onto the Stewart train and rewatched Rope today before you guys got here. That movie's still
so really you're just watching Hitchcock films.
Yeah, that might lead into something I'm going to say right after I talk about Rope. The Rope's still fucking amazing. I like trying to watch. Like I know where the cuts are made and whatnot, but I kind of like it. It still mesmerizes you. It's not the same with like in Birdman, because Birdman I kind of like. I get lost at a certain point on the visual end, but this one kind of keeps me entranced. It's not to say Birdman's not good. It's just it's not Rope.
Yeah.
It's Farley Granger and Jack Dahl are still. Those are two of the most amazing performances on film that have nothing to do with the major Hollywood stars. And Hume Cronin adapted the shit out of that thing. So, props to that. This is all a long-winded way of saying I picked my next subject for my article series. It's going to be Alfred Hitchcock, guys.
Cool.
And I've decided to call it The Shamley Silhouette.
All right.
Shamley was his production company when they made the TV shows.
Cool.
So, I'm going to be going through all 52 of his available films. He technically did 53, but there's one called The Mountain Eagle that's missing. So if somebody out there has it, please give the British Film Institute a call. But yeah, I'm going to go through it all. I was actually talking to my co-writer on a script that I'm working on, and he said that, like, good luck, everybody's had their take on it. I'm like, yeah, I know, and I'm going to kind of, like, come up front with that. What I kind of want to do is actually also talk to other people within the series about what their favorite Hitchcock film is and why they are influenced by him.
That'd be cool.
Rather than just make it solely about my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Clint Eastwood one, it was a little easier to do because it was a wimp evaluating a man. So...
you got it backwards.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's a wimp and I'm a man.
Yeah.
It's because I sing better, isn't it?
It's most likely, yes.
I rewatched the first two John Wicks in theaters in a triple feature with for Chapter 3 Parabellum. I hadn't seen the first two since I saw them in theaters each, so it was a fun refresher. Also getting into 3.
That's cool.
That first one's still a perfect fucking movie. It's super fantastic. It's so simple. Like, we'll get into it later, but like the world building is small enough that it doesn't hinder anything. Second one's still fun. Its problem is the world building. And I really appreciated the boisterous crowd I had at the Alamo. However, there was a lady right next to me who had a laugh that would make your skin crawl. And I thought
she was laughing every time that someone got shot in the face.
You know what? No, not her, but I'm sure there were people behind me who were laughing every moment that happened. There was a lot of
it happens a lot.
There was a lot of people there with camo cargo shorts and Punisher T-shirts.
Sure.
And I'm not going to make assumptions in life,
but I think.
But these are safe assumptions.
Yeah.
Whatever. They were having fun. I don't care.
Yeah.
They didn't hurt anybody, as far as I know. And then the last thing was I did a fitness cinema session, and I got the privilege of watching Empire Strikes Back on a big screen again while doing the treadmill.
That's cool.
Yeah, that movie's still pretty fucking great. I mean, it's the special edition, so I was like, the fitness cinema that I do, I won't say the name of my gym, but the fitness cinema, they use digital files and they'll put subtitles on, right? So if they're doing digital files anyway, why? I know they have to.
Can't they just get a login to my Plex server so that they can watch the fan edit? Yeah.
I was gonna say, or couldn't they just gotten the fan edit? Which I was just like, yeah, but they're a company. I'm sure they're like working under stringent laws not to do that. But I was just like, come on, guys! Like, you want to do Star Wars month? Do it right, like for the fans.
There's a reason it's called.
And then I realized most of the fans probably aren't going to a gym
to watch Empire Strikes Back. No.
No. They want to sit down. They don't want to stand up.
Yeah.
But
one of these days, man, Disney's gotta just come on.
I think I think Rise of Skywalker's Blu-ray release will see the release of something great. I'm sure it will. I mean, if not, then you can all beat me with chains. How about that? I know it's not the ending you wanted, but it may be the ending you get.
I don't know. That sounds okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay with beating you with chains.
But Empire Strikes Back.
I'm not going to wait for Rise of Skywalker to beat Zach with chains.
Yeah, time is now. But Empire Strikes Back. I ran it for 7.27 miles. It's 1,010 calories for 2 hours and 6 minutes. So, if you want a good workout, watch a Star Wars movie.
Your mic just gave up. Brad, what did you watch this week?
My mic went limp. Funny thing, though, they are doing... The rest of the month is still Star Wars. The whole month's been Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to do Jedi on Friday. They're going to do Force Awakens on Monday, and then Last Jedi on Thursday. So I'm going to go to all of them.
All the good ones.
I wish I had gotten to Solo in time, but...
Yeah. Man.
Is there still exercise equipment there?
Are you implying that it's all been broken?
No, I was going to say, like, if there's still exercise equipment, I'm not going.
Oh. That's even better. Brad, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I watched the DS9 doc, but Zach talked about everything in it, so...
I asked you if you wanted to tag team on it.
Did you
I
like
didn't
it?
want to, but I figured you wouldn't, like, cover the entire thing.
Did you enjoy it? Is it good?
I did enjoy it.
What's
and
it
as
called?
someone
Because
who's,
I blacked out.
What We Left Behind. It's
cool.
the actual title of the last episode.
Cool.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. I recently rewatched the series, and it's a bummer that series kind of is the black sheep of the Star Trek universe.
It
never
not after Enterprise. It's not.
Well, it didn't have any time on its own to be its own thing.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, because there was always there was probably a year or two between
Next Gen
and Voyager. Yeah.
So and then the really cool part about the documentary that it makes it different from other documentaries is that they did the season 8 writing session, but they spaced it out throughout the whole documentary. So the beginning of the movie, they do a little bit of the first act of what they would write, and the second in the middle, and the third by the end. And it's I want to see that pilot. Like they should definitely, someone needs to come down from Viacom or Paramount or whatever, and
because they filmed the first episode of season 8.
No.
What do you mean?
Well, just as a kind of a revival,
Oh, okay.
Because all these Treks, like Star Trek Picard's coming out now. They,
Sure.
They kind of suggest,
like Star Trek Roseanne.
Because the end of DS9, Cisco kind of becomes a prophet and disappears from the station.
Right.
Leaves his son behind and his unborn child. So there's still unresolved things from the series that people would like to see those characters continue, and a lot of those actors aren't involved in like heavy projects,
right?
So they would have the space to do it. And it is cool how pretty much I think everybody from the series is in the documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
Avery Brooks definitely has a very unique persona, and so they kind of do that right at the beginning, and then he kind of disappears the rest of it.
I just realized in my review I called him Captain Avery and not
We know.
Captain Cisco.
We were
there were a couple times where I was like, you mean like the pirate?
I'm going to Star Trek hell.
So, but yeah, the as far as like documentary making, adding that writer session into it was a nice change of pace.
I'm amazed how many of the writers they got back in there, like some that are still like big names,
Yeah, they're all still around. And then afterwards, there was like a post movie, like live feed Q&A. Well, not really Q&A, just like a Q&A between the writers and Ira Stephen Bear.
Some more stuff to watch.
Yeah, like we couldn't ask anything, obviously.
Yeah,
but they mostly talked about the transfer, and the process, the expensive process that it takes to make it HD, because the documentary has HD remasters of the show, but only for certain clips because that's all they could afford.
Which they had to kickstart in order to do anyway.
Yeah, this documentary comes from a Kickstarter that everyone paid for, so hopefully this sparks some kind of revival. That, but they acknowledge it's an even more difficult task than Next Generation because it's
really
a popular series, and all the early 1990s CGI elements have to be remade,
right? Because it's the same problem as Next Gen. It's just not as popular as Next. It's still that we filmed it and then we did effects in SD and composited them together. And so if we just up it, this will look like garbage and this won't.
Yeah,
so you have to redo the composite stuff.
A lot of Next Gen's effects are practical, but they're on beta, so at least they have film stock.
And also, aren't the elements in Next Gen, some of them are kind of trashed anyway to begin with?
Some were lost and they couldn't.
Yeah,
exactly.
So the Blu-ray release is actually kind of incomplete.
Right.
But DS9, a lot of it is made the effects are from digital, so either the software doesn't run those models anymore,
right?
So it has to be remade from scratch.
Sheesh.
So they can't just.
And I would probably bet that show has a lot more special effects in it because of the time it came out than Next Gen.
Odo.
So it's not.
Alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And there was just a lot of like shots of ships flying outside and going in and out of the wormhole and stuff like that. That you could have full episodes of Next Gen with very little like unique CG in it. You know.
Yeah, that whole like space war. I think towards the 6th or 7th season. That's one of the clips they chose to do, and it's amazing.
Man, that's cool.
I think that. Well, and I was glad that they showed that they got some of the original DPs from the show to actually supervise those HD transfers.
That's cool.
And so, like, that adds to the cost as well. If you're going to do the whole thing, you do want the original people to supervise it because that lends the authenticity and whatnot. It's like no different than like getting Dean Cundy to re-supervise all the different transfers for Jurassic Park or Halloween. So, I mean, but that season 8, I don't think that's unreasonable given the fact that CBS All Access is just going to become the Star Trek channel at this point.
Yeah, it's a cool pilot.
With also Twilight
cool.
Zone.
Yeah.
Because like
that would be cool.
I mean like God like I don't want to spoil it, but how they choose to introduce Cisco back in is really cool. Like cuz it doesn't disrespect the finale that they originated with. So
does it require? Sorry, you give me that look. Like,
I see you thinking.
Well, I guess where I'm going is like, does it require you to really know that? I mean, if you brought that show back, like, you can't require
for the fans.
Yeah, it would not be. It would not. It would not be.
Especially for by comparison to other Star Trek shows, like that's one that got. Part of why I don't love it as much is because of how much it gets mired down in some of the religiosity of that series. Like
but that's also
two of my best friends. Yeah, but two of my best friends growing up, like, always had this rule that like if the first shot of an episode of DS9 is a Bajoran, you can just skip that episode. And I actually fully enjoy watching the show that way. Mm-hmm. So I would have a hard time like if that's a heavy part of where you go. But you know, like you said, that it would have to be very much for the fans of DS9.
Yeah.
You know,
like every character, like Kira's sounds interesting too, and also what they would do with Bashir, which I was completely fascinated by, given the way he ends in DS9, the original series. So,
the good news is, I think around August, the documentary is released on Blu-ray, so
cool.
You still have a chance to check it out.
So that we can just go and rewatch that war scene over and over again.
Yeah.
From Shout Factory, but it will be a limited release, so you will have to like
buy
it quick. Yeah, or buy it. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have it digital somewhere.
Yeah.
But
another cool thing is part of the Kickstarter is they were going to remaster like one clip or something. But Ira Steven Bear, like it took 5 or 6 years to actually make this thing. Like it started in 2012 or 2013.
Man.
And you know, towards the middle of it, after watching the one remaster, they're like, this whole documentary has to be HD. Like, I don't want any SD clips in here.
Wow.
So
that's why it took longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
they went the extra mile.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I rewatched Avengers for the 9th time, but this time it was in IMAX.
Cool.
Couldn't do the 3D though because they only have one showing in the morning. And
was it good?
Oh, it's. I was in the 4th row and just the edge of the screen is on either side of my eyes, and so I'm just inside that final battle.
You are Thanos.
I'm like, I'm crawling backwards in my seat, just trying to get a wider view. Cause,
I need to get away from this.
Yeah, it's so close, and immersive, and
that's cool. Awesome,
man. So that's cool. Go see that. Spend another $40,
please.
I saw Batman and Robin in the theater for the first time. In the theater.
Okay.
And I believe I've said it before.
Please continue.
That this is a movie that actually gets worse every time I watch it.
All right, guys. You're being really mean. You need to just chill out.
Oh, that's awesome. So was it pretty bad?
Yeah, like well, first like right out of the gate when Freeze is falling out of the sky and he pops open his like wings.
Oh my god, I don't remember this film at all.
It's the very beginning. He goes up in a rocket ship, and Robin gets trapped on the rocket ship, and Batman grabs onto the rocket ship.
Watch the numbers,
and
Batman.
then Freeze bails, and they're stuck with this warhead on the rocket ship. Anyway, as he's descending, because it's a big screen, I was able to see this wire that's holding up Schwarzenegger's heel for the flight green screen. So that's something new I saw.
Good.
And Clooney is completely unsure how to play Bruce Wayne.
Was it? Do you know if it was a film reel or a DCP recording?
I think it was the 4K DCP.
Okay,
because the Blu-rays or the 4K Blu-rays coming out next week.
I ask because on film you probably couldn't see The Wire, right? So when that movie aired in theaters, you probably couldn't see The Wire, and then on 4K you can see it.
Yeah. I mean, while they're making it, they probably should have seen it because they have better playback for the
because
film.
It's their job. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
but when it's on reels in '97, playing through with the cigarette burn in it,
right.
probably you didn't see
then,
it.
Yeah.
I just thought of this. They re-released all 4 of those. Who the fuck's bright idea was it to re-release Batman and Robin in theaters? You could even just do the first 3.
Dude, you can mark the case up that collection up an extra $10 because now it's 4 movies in 4K.
But putting it back
a money man made a good money decision.
But putting it back in theaters, I'm like, didn't we learn our lesson 20 years ago?
Bradwin saw it.
It might have been a test market thing of like, yeah, it was maligned when it came out, but Warner was like, let's see if it's maybe like a new generation appreciates it.
It was a test market thing. It was a test market thing pushed by Matt Reeves to see whether or not his idea for the next film is going to work.
You laugh, but like episode 1 just celebrated its 20th anniversary like yesterday, I think.
Yeah. So that movie's better than Batman and Robin.
And there's a generation of kids who grew up with those that like approve of those more than the original trilogy.
Actually, that's fair.
So Batman and Robin might have,
and they have a good point because none of those movies are as good as The Last Jedi.
So
that's unfair.
Come at me, bro.
In every way possible.
Speaking of DC, I pulled it together and I started watching Titans again.
Oh wait, Titans?
Titans,
like fucking
DC Universe.
Titans?
Rated R.
Fuck Batman Titans.
Needlessly dropped F-bombs and horrible digital blood.
So I hate to off track you, but I was watching this YouTube video this week, and they referenced the fact that there is an episode of Teen Titans Go in which the Teen Titans, the animated Teen Titans, envision their own version of a film version of them where everything is dark and gloomy, and it is basically everything from the Titans show. Like, it's a lot of them, but they're like
before Titans was created, or
I believe so. I mean, this is like an older episode of Teen Titans where they're all pretending to be like dour and gloomy, and they're like making up what it would be like if they had their own movie, and then it is Titans. Anyway, you can go look.
Okay,
people can go look that up. Well, how's Titans?
Still really tough to listen to. The dialogue.
I love it because you're not watching it; you just have it on in the background.
It's on the other monitor when I'm editing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So the dialogue's still horrible. And they drop edgy stuff just to justify it being an edgier show. Like, people will swear, and it just feels out of place. Like they're just trying to.
Because it's only available on like the DC platform, right?
Yeah. And then in the fight scenes, there's just awful digital blood that is cartoonish, stands out a lot. And then back to the writing, though, I finally paid attention to the credits as I was watching it, and sure enough,
the only time you looked at the screen was the credits.
One of the writers is Akiva Goldsman, who wrote Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and then somehow got an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind. So, yeah.
I like A Beautiful Mind, but not for
so
his
after
script.
Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, Warner Brothers said, yes, continue writing DC superheroes.
That's
under the radar on our platform.
We have this, we have this thing we're going to launch our own platform for that's really going to be our own, like, CW's got our stuff over here that is also campy and weak, but, like, here's this we're going to really go forward, and we want the person who's going to move us forward to be the guy who made us the laughing stock of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I
guess
guess
they probably blame Schumacher more than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe not.
And Chris O'Donnell, because they're mean.
It's a team effort, but, I mean, it starts with a script, so...
Right. Someone sat down and said, okay, we start with a rocket.
Enough. Let's do it.
How about Mr. Freeze falls from a rocket?
Hey, wait, guys.
All these are ice puns. Let's roll.
Guys, I have the best line that Batman's ever said. Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman.
Maybe that's the maybe for that movie all he turned in was a list of jokey ice puns and was like, here's my script. It's 4 pages.
Here's my treatise. And then the story, I really can't tell you like where it's going. It just
is there like a main villain of the series?
Not that I can tell yet.
Or that they're even hinting at?
Well, right now there's like a group of like a nuclear family. Nuclear. Damn it! I said it the wrong way. Nuclear family.
It's George Bush. It's the Bushes.
It's mom and dad, brother, sister, and they're sadistic, but they like live in a 50s style world.
Okay, I haven't figured out yet. When you say nuclear family, do you mean they're a nuclear family? They're all closely related,
or do you mean like blast irradiated?
No, like that's the term for like the traditional.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Family
so you just mean
unit.
it's a family.
Yeah.
There's a family. They live in some kind of 50s-esque place.
Yeah.
And something
they
weird
live in
is
the
going
present,
on.
but
Suburbicon.
But they're very blast from a pasty.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
And they're also murderers.
Okay.
Ooh.
So they seem
Like,
all friendly, but
they as a group like to
they're
serial
out to kill people.
Oh,
Yeah.
serial mom. Gotcha.
So they're chasing down Rachel Roth for I don't know what reason yet.
Serial killing.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't kill her. They capture her, and then Starfire comes by and rescues her, and
then serial kills the serial killers.
She kills the dad.
Okay, good. Well, one at a time. You know,
incinerates him.
Don't
and then the mom
judge
and
them
children
all.
are like, oh, that's unfortunate. And right at this point, that none of the Titans really know each other except for Dick Grayson and Rachel Roth, because Dick Grayson's a cop and he's trying to protect her because she's losing control of her powers.
So they have to get
trouble.
the team together. The team doesn't start together.
Right.
Okay.
So far it's just been Rachel Roth, and then Starfire comes. I haven't been able to follow her story because she's kind of a murderer too.
Are they going with a version of Starfire that is?
I don't know a lot about the
fun
Titans
and no, but
originally.
You'll know the answer to this one. Is their version of Starfire the fun and bubbly and adorable version that kids enjoy, or the hypersexualized version that then writers turn her into as an adult in an offensive way that's really disappointing to little girls who might like her as a kid?
Let me make sure, because actually no one really says it's Corey. Is that Starfire?
I don't know. She's the one
Coriander?
she's orange and she has. I don't know. I'm not the DC guy.
I don't know either.
I only know this from the outside
because they don't use their superhero names.
She's got like
other than Robin.
Power. She's not Raven. She's not the one who has the powers of darkness.
Yeah, but I don't know if
she's
this
the
is
one that like has lasers.
She definitely has like fiery hair. So
yeah. That's got to be her.
Anyway, I don't know where all this is going. And then Robin's trying to pawn off Starfire on Hawk and Dove, which I think are characters they made up for the series. And they're kind of like aging superheroes that.
Okay, yeah, that's their version of Starfire.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Glad we
Weird.
cleared that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remembered another bad line from Batman and Robin. Rubber lips are immune to your charms.
So you'd recommend it?
No, I mean I'm gonna get to the end just to see like if there is a place it's going. I think I'm on like episode 5 now to 12. So
you get it for free though, right?
I get it for free. So
there you go.
I'm not gonna complain too much. I'll probably try Doom Patrol. Let's see what else. I rewatched Rollerball from 2002, I think.
Brad, what's going on? How can we help you?
I canceled my Prime membership, and I'm watching everything on Prime really fast.
Oh, that's funny.
This was terrible when
and
I watched
this is
it.
the best thing on Prime you can find.
No, I like revisiting, like 20 years old me, like 20 years ago me, sees
you give it another
art
chance.
differently, and it has gotten so much worse than I remember it. Like I used to rag on it for the night vision sequence, but the whole movie, like knowing more about filmmaking, it just feels like this fell apart in production, and then the producer said, like, just grab the rest of the footage and we'll edit it together into something so we can release it.
Oh, it's like There Will Be Blood.
And cut our losses. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like I know the original has like and this one to some extent has a statement to say about sports, like getting more violent and therefore accruing more ratings. But this really just kind of parrots that,
and could have been very prescient in a for being pre-reality show TV. Could have been a thing that really ended up being smart.
Yep,
but was not.
But I've never seen the original, so I don't know how it really. I don't have anything to really compare it to.
It's James Caan. That's all you have to know.
Yeah, as far as the matches and stuff, but it's like, wow, this is a huge mess. I watched the War Games for the first time.
Oh,
which is okay.
It's
outdated.
It's a lot of movie just to say like, hey, it's really dangerous to have computers in control of all of our nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it's a movie you have to very much take from its time, because one of the best things about it is that their version of freaking in that movie is accurate. It's one of the most accurate versions of computer hacking, of all time. Yeah, it was called freaking at the time because you had to use your phone, so it was like freaking with a PH.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that movie is kind of right. When you compare it to the next 20 years of computers and movies.
Yeah.
I like me some Matthew Broderick. It's a fun film.
It's good.
Flims.
I don't know that I would ever watch it again, but it's one of those things that's just in film history that I saw when I was probably 12 or 13 and was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I
expected it to be more fun. But it really is. You could have just said hey, it's really dangerous to have computers control this stuff, and I'd just be like, yeah, you're right. And then the conversation would be over. I agree.
That's why at the time it was made, that was a big deal. It was really cool.
Wow, that was a really neat short film, Ma.
it almost ends up going the other way, where at the time kids were like, man, I want a computer in my room. This kid can change his grades. That was more entertaining than now you watching, you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah. If they went, if they extrapolated more of the being able to change his grades, instead of just the nuclear war angle, I think it would have been probably more entertaining because you could have more fun with it.
The movie itself is essentially 25 minutes long. It's that scene at the beginning where he explains he can change his grades, then he hits a button, and then at the end he plays tic-tac-toe with a computer, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's the other frustrating too. I wish it had a real
conclusion,
like a game you could follow, so there was stakes to it, because you're just kind of sitting back and waiting for either. I don't know what it's trying to solve,
right,
or what they can't hack into. It's really unclear. If there's more of a you understood it along with Matthew Broderick and Dr. Falcon, so you were kind of so you're more invested in it.
Oh my God, Dr. Falcon.
Yeah.
Fuck, I haven't seen it.
Just realized in The Thing, in John Carpenter's Thing, Kurt Russell defeats a computer pretty quick, so it's pretty much the movie War Games in 30 seconds.
No, it is not.
And then the last thing I saw for the first time, which was on Ryan's 1989 film selection list, was Major League.
Oh. Is he wrong?
It wouldn't have been on my list. It is, the characters are fun, the humor is fun, but it's rated R, and really the only reason is because, you could have still made that movie without the F-bombs in it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, obviously it did well anyway. But I was just surprised that
even for that year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's all of the language. So I think there's swearing in the subtitles for the groundskeepers, and then some of the characters do, but really nothing else in the movie. It's just straight up a baseball team and their antics.
I wonder if that's one of those times where they were intentionally making comedies are because there was a better chance you'd get a good audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basketball's obviously
inappropriate.
Way more inappropriate than
right.
Major League.
Yeah.
I expected Major League to be filthy like that. So
yeah,
and it's really not.
Sure.
Other than some swearing.
Yeah,
but it's still rated R.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's almost
even for 89.
Vacation. If you took out one shot of boobs and a couple of F words, that movie would be a PG-13 family comedy.
I guess his rant in the car is possibly what makes it even more rated R. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's partially because he swears a lot.
It's also one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Yeah. So
other than Moose should have told you up front.
So yeah, it's a lot tamer than expected. The antics weren't as zany as some of the stuff we get today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, James.
I went to see The Hustle. with Anne Hathaway
Why'd you do that?
and Rebel Wilson.
And you should point out that you've never seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
I've never seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I know.
Okay.
But
whatever. You're sad. That's fine.
Yeah, the wife wanted to go see a movie, and she was like, "I want to go see comedy. This thing is out, and let's go see it."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Sure, whatever. I will go see anything."
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's lazy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It ends. So it does that for you.
You got the whole package, beginning, middle, end.
Yeah, even sat through the credit. I was telling Brad this. It has a stinger, sort of like it's got some footage. It has footage that they accidentally cut into the credits, which is just more jokes from a weird joke that doesn't play in the middle, where they're just riffing on this joke that doesn't work very well.
Okay.
But there's also some fun parts and stuff. It's mostly just aimless is the problem. Like at any one point, the purpose for anything that's happening is unclear, and the characters don't have arcs or drive. So, it's fine. I wouldn't say anyone should watch it ever, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not opposed to it being a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I'm just like...
Opposed to it being bad?
That's pretty much it. Like, it's
That'd
not
be fair.
Like, I mean, I loved the concept and loved the idea of them doing it as a female version of that, because it's just like that's kind of what they go for at the end of the original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, is that one of their marks joins their team.
Yeah,
but I just and I liked the trailer seemed fun, but I was also just like I don't foresee this being well received, and sadly it isn't. So
all the best jokes are in the trailer. So anyway.
I'm probably going to still see it anyway because I like that concept a lot. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
it's
I like
fine.
watching Anne Hathaway as of late do comedies. I think she's really fun in comedies.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's all fine.
Good.
It's fine. It's fine.
Watch the original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, though. It is a good movie.
I will.
Yeah.
It seemed like it could have been a good movie. Like, that's, if I can say anything good about The Hustle.
That's what I was hoping when it came out.
It seems like, if they just put men in it would have been, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. Because Ocean's 8 is pretty fun. It is. I'm not joking.
I still haven't seen it. So I also got a chance to watch They Shall Not Grow Old this week.
What did you think of my movie?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought, that even though I had seen that moment before, still while watching the movie, because they spend that first 15 or 20 minutes showing you just the historical footage, it sort of tricks you again, so that it's almost like this is a documentary with this one thing they do that then could work again, because the next time you watch this movie, they're going to spend 15 minutes showing you historical footage, and then when that moment happens and they up-res everything and colorize it and the sound comes in and people are now looking through the camera at you, it just works. Really cool. And it's not the most interesting documentary content wise. It's a lot of stuff that you've heard when hearing people talk about war before, but what's amazing about it is that it's World War I, and you don't hear that from we've gotten so much war documentary stuff, especially about World War II, that to hear all of this interview audio, that there is no narration to the film. It's just people who were there talking about this experience they had, and they've tied it together so that it sort of tells this story and walks you through the experience of actual people on the ground, sort of from beginning to end. It's fascinating.
And they sifted through all those audio interviews so well. It's an amazing editing job.
Yeah, you don't realize, it's not like there's signposts where they're like, now we're going to talk about the section where people were disillusioned because they all showed up at the thing, and people,
and no talking heads, which I enjoyed.
Right? Yeah, it just sort of goes. Yeah, and it's great that there isn't any footage that's not the historical footage, because it really makes that footage come alive in a way that so often when you're watching a historical documentary, you're just like, yeah, okay, here's some footage. Here, you really do. They kind of make characters out of these people who are in this footage,
and they drop you in. They drop you in beautifully.
Oh, it's really
it's
good.
An amazing achievement in film restoration.
Yeah, and the way that it's not even just that they took footage and colorized it and up-res it and cleaned it up. The way that they will then zoom in on parts and move the camera, and they'll make the actual film itself come alive.
Right.
That's great. It's on Amazon. You can rent it. It's worth a watch. Everybody should see it. It's only like an hour and a half long. Like it's an easy recommend.
I've thought about it since I've seen it, and it might be the best Peter Jackson movie I've seen since
The Hobbit 3.
No, I like those movies, but like if we're talking like in the major leagues here, like this is the best one I've seen since The Lovely Bones.
Sure.
And The Lovely Bones isn't even the best thing he's done, so I think it's better than people give it credit for.
Yeah. I also finished the 3rd season of Crashing on HBO, which is Pete Holmes' show.
And it's also the last season.
Though, I mean, the way it ends is actually kind of fine.
That's good.
But that show is awesome. I love what he was trying to do there, and it's such a refreshing, fun little show. You could almost say it's like his... if you were going to give him a show just like Louis, it's sort of that. But it is through this very particular, like... I don't want to say quirky because I don't want to undermine... Like, Pete Holmes is a really intelligent guy who actually has something to say, and then his comedy almost feels like it can undermine that at times because you feel like, oh, he's just this sort of clean, jokey guy, and then he'll just feed you a little bit of medicine every now and then, and you're like, oh shit. I mean, like
he's a great comic.
Yeah, like his most recent HBO special is fantastic. And it is. It's because there's those little things where all of a sudden he's spent 35 minutes telling you jokey jokes, and then he asks you to tell yourself to there's this great moment in that HBO special where he says, okay, on the count of 3, we're all going to check and see if we need to pee. And then he makes everybody does it, and he goes, what just happened? And he uses that moment to draw out this very, like, self-aware, aware of who we are as people and that we're all in this place, and it's a very unifying, cool, smart, heady, borderline spiritual moment. Like, it's really great. But all wrapped up in like this silly kind of joke.
I love him because he's such a live wire, but he's so genuine. Like it's not like it feels so real that like and his podcast is amazing. You Made It Weird is a great podcast.
Yeah.
Where he's very earnest and very like sincere. He's a wonderful man to listen to. I wish his show lasted longer, but
yeah. And you think it could because it looks like it's about as cheap as can be. I also finished the 3rd season of This Is Us, so I'm totally caught up on that finally. It's great.
It's still them.
It's one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years or so. Like, it's just incredible. Like the way that they're able to. Yes, there are times where it skirts right up against melodrama and then brings itself back. It always gets close and then just brings itself back.
Melodrama, if it's done right, is good.
Yeah. Even it's much like Mandy Moore herself. There are just times where like she just gets real close to just being really obnoxious, and then she finds a way back, and you go like, okay, all right.
I know. I loved 47 Meters Down.
It's really Candy that I care about. Anyway, and then last thing was I got a chance to watch Guava Island, which is the Donald Glover movie. It's 55 minutes long.
It's a 1 hour special.
It's it's a thing. It's the Donald Glover thing.
If this was the 70s, it'd be his 1 hour special.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's cool. It's definitely something that people should check out. I don't know what to even call it because it's like kind of a musical and kind of a folklore tale maybe and a drama. It's a story. Donald Glover plays a musician on this little island called Guava Island that is pretty much run by this big corporation called Red, run by a guy named Red. And Donald Glover runs the radio station and also works at the port. And Rihanna is his girlfriend, because why not? And there's some other things going on and all this tension building and stuff like this. And he's kind of a protest singer. He wants to write a really great song that unifies this whole island, and you can kind of tell like there's this need for rebellion because everybody's kind of oppressed, and the when when he throws a concert, people tend to not come to work the next day. So the guy who's in charge would really like him to not throw concerts.
Okay.
Because people just work every day on this island. Like nobody really takes a day off. So it's cool. The weirdest thing is when there are musical moments in the film. The first one is him singing "This Is America" in the film, much like in a musical. Like it's I don't even know, because
more melodic.
Yeah, musical movies are neither diegetic nor non-diegetic music. They're the people singing songs, and that's what's happening here, where you're hearing music, and it happens a couple times like that, where it's like a musical, where people just sort of start singing and dancing together. And there's even points where he's like in the film replicating the music video for "This Is America" in that scene. Okay. And so it's a little off-putting at first, but it's also really cool and just catchy and fun, and has a whole purpose. Like, he almost draws more attention to what he's trying to sort of say by using that song and by using that song in this movie. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Like I said, it's less than an hour long. It's on Amazon Prime. So it's, you can go check it out if you have Prime. So yeah, anyway, that's what I've been watching.
I have one more what we've been watching that has been 30 years in the making.
What?
I saw The Man Who Killed Don Quixote last night.
Oh yeah,
at the Alamo Draft
How did you
House.
forget to talk about that?
Because I wanted to save it because it's been delayed for so long. Much
Is it
like
okay?
that movie. Yeah. So if you like Terry Gilliam, you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
I
don't always.
I don't like critics can say whatever they want to say because they are entitled to their opinion. I think that a lot of them, the ones that I read, were a little harsh given the fact that, rightfully so, this has been like such an ambitious project he's tried to do for years that there's an expectation that was never going to get fulfilled.
No, whatever it is, the movie's perfect.
This movie is exactly what I thought it would be if it was made in the 90s with Johnny Depp and John Rushmore. It's literally just another fun, wacky Terry Gilliam movie.
Cool.
I think Adam Driver is actually amazing in it because he's basically playing a person who doesn't want to be in a Terry Gilliam movie that's somehow trapped in a Terry Gilliam movie.
And he's never hit a woman.
Yeah.
So that's probably good.
Yeah. And anyway, though, the Jonathan Pryce plays Don Quixote, and the shoemaker who thinks he's Don Quixote, and I think it's one of the best Jonathan Pryce performances I've seen since Brazil. It's like he'll never get an Oscar nomination for it, but if there was a different Just World, I think he should because he's the heart of that film.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing. Like not all of the film works technically, but it's a Terry Gilliam movie, so I don't expect it all to work on a cohesive level.
Sure.
And the biggest thing it accomplishes is how whimsical it is. Like it very much reminds me of Brazil and how it attempts to do things. And I understand why it took as long as it did. It's a fun time. I also get why it's not being released in a wider stance because it is hard to market this thing.
Sure.
But it's much more mainstream than a lot of stuff Terry Gilliam's done. So
cool.
But yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
This week on Blu-ray.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
How to Train Your Dragon 3? They took the numbers off.
Revenge of the Sith.
3. Yes, this is the third one. I don't know. They're all great.
Parabellum.
This week on 4K. The Hidden World, not to be confused with the Fallen Kingdom or the whatever. Anyway,
How to Train Your Jurassic World.
Isn't It Romantic? The other Rebel Wilson movie from this year,
which I still want to see,
is out on Blu-ray this week. The Upside, which I hear fantastic things about, that I should probably check out.
Did you?
Wow.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of good things. So that's out on Blu-ray this week. There's a John Travolta movie called Trading Paint that looks like goddamn garbage, but I just want to point out it's like a racing movie, right? And it's trading paint.
Because they're bumping up against each other.
Yeah, but like bumping up against each other is not the most interesting use of a title. Like, they're not like
bumping cars.
It's not Days of Thunder. It's like, I think you could call it bumper cars. Like,
Did you see that guy? I
same.
totally traded paint with him.
Yeah.
He's dead in the crash anyway.
That's probably gearhead slang.
Yeah.
A lot of the street racers.
They're just trading paint.
Kelly, get over here.
I was doing 100 and I-25, and I grazed the median, and it doesn't matter because I'm awesome.
Trading paint. Hashtag trading paint.
Oh, I'm gonna get a new sponsorship deal. Oh my god.
Out this week from Shout Select is Earthquake.
Woo, yeah.
Which
Fun little 70s disaster flick.
is about an earthquake.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's got a lot of stars in it.
There's a 4K release this week of Crank.
Yeah. Not Crank 2, though, right?
No.
The better of the two. Crank 2 High Voltage is a masterpiece. Why?
Keep going.
I'm going to turn his
Keep
mic
going,
off. There's a movie called The Seduction. I don't even know why I brought that one up. Warner Brothers Archive has the Shaft, a collection of 3 Shaft films.
The Shaft trilogy.
Including Shaft, Shaft's Big Score, A Brand New Caper, and Shaft in Africa.
Yep.
You can also get each of those individually.
Shafrica.
Fuck.
God damn it.
Then Nixon's got a Kino Lorber Blu-ray release this week as well. And then there's a Tommy Lee Jones Linda Hamilton movie called Black Moon Rising that's out on Blu-ray this week from Kino as well, that I'm only bringing up because I think this is my favorite poster this week because this is just dope. I like that Tommy Lee Jones looks like the head from Wolfenstein, like the dude from Wolfenstein. And then there's just Linda Hamilton looking like a badass business lady with a gun. Also, there's a flying car.
See that black moon right there? It's rising.
I'm going to buy back those stocks.
This is cool. Like, I want to go see a trailer for this and find out if this movie is... I want this to be the hidden Blade Runner that I've never seen. Like, I want to find out that there's, like, an awesome sci-fi movie.
Isn't the first Blade Runner a hidden Blade Runner?
A little bit. Well, it just took them, like, 25 years to find it.
And then they made a sequel.
So,
Which
anyway.
is also now missing.
Yeah, that's Blu-rays this week.
Sweet.
This week, we went and saw John Wick 3 Parabellum. Brad, should people see John Wick 3 Parabellum?
If you like
John Wick movies.
a movie that's a whole extended action sequence, then sure, go see it. I'll just fix this by saying the action is awesome, but there's so much of it for extended periods of time that it was exhausting.
I told Rafe it was exhausting after we got out.
The middle,
That's so funny.
The middle fight sequence, I was like, "This is still going," because there's almost nothing inventive going on. They're just repeating the same stuff, almost like they're padding for time. And then the story, boy, I didn't learn anything new. And I'm introduced to the possibility of a fourth one. So I'm like, wow, I feel like I just got strung along for 2 hours, like, to get to the fourth one. So, but the action is really cool, especially that first fight.
Cool. Zach, should people go see John Wick 3?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Parabellum.
It's a fucking John Wick movie. Why wouldn't you go see it? I actually like this more than Chapter 2 because I feel like it...
You're very wrong about John Wick movies today.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty much right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
My problem with Chapter 2 is that I felt like things got muddled in terms of its attempt to tell a story, and I think this one is a little clearer, but not by much. I appreciate that the action sequences are as insane. They don't go for broke, in my opinion, because I think you've got to go further into this series for it to go for broke. But I think they do a lot of things to push whatever boundaries they've already set up in the previous installments. It's fun watching Halle Berry kick ass in that action scene. It's fun watching that final scene in the hotel, even though it was a little tension-filled for me. And I appreciated just having fun watching an action flick, and I love that Keanu Reeves is getting to do these movies. But we'll talk about it a little bit more because I think there are spoilers in this whole discussion, but like especially in terms of the action. But
sure,
yeah, but we'll get to that. But yeah, please go see it.
Yeah, so I saw this movie properly, which means that I had 2 beers beforehand, and then about 20 minutes into the movie. After eating my dinner and having a full Coke Zero, when the film finally like stopped having action, and that's when I was like, oh man, this is my chance. So I went to the bathroom whenever they introduced like Angelica Houston or whatever was going on there, and I came back, and then there was just more action to be had. I think it's like, yeah, if you like John Wick movies, this is one of them, and you should see it. If you don't like John Wick movies, this is one of them, and you should go see Endgame again. The reason why Zach is wrong is that I think the action here isn't as cool as the last one, and but it gets right that it tries to do less story. So yeah. Anyway, that's John Wick. Here's the trailer for John Wick Chapter 3. Parabellum.
You have no idea what's coming.
Mr. Wick broke the rules. I trust you understand the repercussions if he survives. John Wick, excommunicado, is now in effect. You shouldn't be here. Nice suit.
Good to see you, too. I need your help.
After this, we are less than even.
There's no escape for you. The High Table wants your life.
Would you help set the mood for our new guest?
Let us begin.
Our services still off limits to me. What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
You think you can take John Wick? You've got a nasty surprise coming.
I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. And so far, you haven't disappointed.
We can keep this up as long as you'd like. But this only ends one way.
All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
Wasn't just a puppy.
Yeah, he fights a guy with a belt.
Yes.
That was
in
cool.
a library book.
He fights the dudes from the raid.
Dude, I'm never going to be overdue with my library books ever again.
Yeah, but like the cool thing about that is he fights a giant guy,
like a Matthew McRory type,
whose strategy is he's going to put his hand on your head. But like by comparison to the Bourne Ultimatum book fight, like it's not quite as cool, but still cool.
But anyway, I mean, like I watched all three of them in a row at that screening, and so like with Chapter 2, like I don't not like the action. I think the action's great.
Oh yeah.
I just like because it's muddling around with all these different story things that it's trying to cram a little too much of.
Totally.
It doesn't register for me as well as the third one does, where I feel like the action, like because it's very much isolated on its own, it works better for me. Like that scene with Halle Berry and Keanu Reeves with the dogs, I think is awesome because it keeps going for broke on that dog joke, which I think is fun.
That was a kind of one of the things that I got exhausted with was it was so clearly stunt dogs because every time they would just grab the guy's chest and tug, and I was like, no man, I need a CG like neck rip. Like I need a good. This is cool that it's all practical, like except for when the dogs go flying through the air. Like that sequence is so great, but I kind of wish there was either less of it or that they got more brutal.
It's good you pointed out because I was also during the movie. There were times when stunt people would wait for the other person to do something.
Yeah.
Whereas logically in the story, like that would be a good time to kill that person.
Yeah.
You have the chance, but they wait for the choreographed action to happen, and it's just like
I mean, to me, great John Wick the greatness of John Wick is in the little moments where you're like, man, like in the second one, when everybody's mind is blown when he reaches around and shoves an extra shotgun shell in the shotgun, which is not as cool as when he he's there at the end of this when he's like swiping and putting 2 shotgun shells in at a time or something weird.
Right.
Like there's these little moments in John Wick movies where like something crazy happens and it just blows you away for a second. And there's some of those in this movie. They're just not, they don't stand out as much. I mean, the whole first opening of the second one with the car scene.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. Yeah. Again, like, I think they're all fun to watch.
Yeah. The dog sequence here is awesome. I think the library sequence is really cool. There is that weird long. The whole part from Angelica Houston to the desert is just like.
I like watching Angelica Houston in a movie again. I just wish it was something a little different. But I know that they're trying. They're world building for a spinoff called Ballerina, which sure.
Are they really? Is that a real thing?
That's what I've read.
It's a TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a series called The Continental, which is going to be like every other assassin living in that hotel.
That's not what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like we're all on the same page. We're here to watch people.
It's too bad Marvel told everybody that cinematic universes are necessary.
The movie, maybe the other really exhausting part, but also really fun. Like the movie becomes like a video game, especially in that later section where you get those armored dudes.
Well, the whole thing.
And he's just like pumping rounds in them, and they're getting back up, and you're like, holy fuck!
See, that's why I do like the world building of this series. Like, hear me out on this. Like, I've heard a couple of people say it finally became a full video game, and I'm like, it's been a video game the entire fucking series.
Yeah.
Like, from the moment that you see a bunch of Mario coins hidden in his basement, I'm like, oh, it's a video game. He's got to pay people for information, or he's got to collect coins at some point while he's killing some people. It's a video game.
The one big difference here, though, is that the first 2 films, the motivation for everything happening is in the film, whereas this one, the first one, his dog dies. You want him to kill everyone.
Right.
The second one, a douche shows up and is douchey. You want him to kill everyone. In this one, he killed a guy in the last movie, and everybody is mad because he broke the rules. He kind of has to kill everyone, and I think that makes it lose some momentum.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
And then at the end, you find out that a lot of the movie is just what's his name, Ian McShane's character, Winston.
Yeah.
His plan to just get his hotel back so he's not in trouble with the High Table.
Well,
Which the High Table, it's a bunch of dudes in the desert. How do they have,
Right.
No, that's the person.
How are they in charge of anything?
That's the person above the table.
But none of that matters or makes sense, or I don't want to spend any time on that.
I just want him to go to the High Table in this movie.
And just kill everybody.
No, that's going to be the fourth one.
You're right. This movie is a placeholder to what we actually wanted, which was from the end of 2, what you kind of want is, now he should go burn everything down.
Yeah.
And this movie isn't him doing what we wanted, which is the only way to keep himself from getting murdered is to go, he promises at the end of the last one, I'm going to go murder everyone. And then he doesn't.
Yeah, he just finds a way to ask his way out of trouble.
Yeah, it would have been better if he had gone and used Halle Berry the way he uses Winston and is like, hey, I have this marker. I need you to let me get all the guns, and then I'm going to go murder everyone. And then the end of the movie is him murdering everyone, but then still something goes wrong. Because I do like...
Or taking his own seat at the High Table.
Yeah, I guess what I kind of like is this idea that no matter how much he does, he never... As long as he is trying to take vengeance on people, he never actually gets anywhere. This whole sort of cycle of okay, if I just murder enough people, I'll have murdered everyone, and then there just is always somebody else. This is the movie that ends with him being like, oh man, I'm really pissed off. Are you pissed off, John? And John's like, yeah, now I'm pissed off. And we're like, dude, it's been 3 movies. How are you not pissed off yet?
This whole movie is about the consequences of relapsing into alcoholism. That's basically what the series is. Its consequences is the theme of this third film, if there are themes in this movie. And but when you saw the end of 2, we must have saw it differently, because I saw the end of 2 of oh shit, it's just going to be a bunch of assassins coming after him. I had no expectation of burn it all down. That's what I got at the end of this one.
But they introduce in the second one this whole idea of there's a high table and there's all these, like, we know there's rules because of the Continental.
But they're super vague about it in the second one.
Right. But
that's why I want the third one to unlock those secrets.
I want the third. I don't want them to. I don't want to waste time unlocking secrets. I want to just murder all the people who have the secrets. Like I want the movie to be like.
You want the arbitrator
to learn something
constant
new along
murdering
the way.
assassins. Yeah, I mean you can have some plot along the way.
That's basically what the auditor is, or whatever her name is.
Yeah,
is like
adjudicator.
The adjudicator. That's basically like the most information we get about the high table. I think it really. I mean, like these. I mean, I meant what I said in our text thread, which is like, I mean, the plot is stupid, but I'm fascinated by how well it's building a stupid world. Like, it's not like it's just like it's super fun. You know what these movies are? This is what I think everybody wanted the Matrix movies to be after the first Matrix, but that's not what they got.
Well,
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong on that.
Well, even after the second one, I was excited because it presented the premise that everyone in the city is an assassin that would be chasing him, but this movie isn't that either. It's the adjudicator sending a select few against him. So that anticipation is gone.
Well, for the first 20 minutes, it's anybody going after him.
Well, no, the first 20 minutes is the hour he has to prepare.
Right.
Then it should have been, hey, the rest of this movie is lots of assassins coming after him, and well, no, because even the sushi guy and his ninjas, like the modern ninjas, who I think are cool, like their whole thing of like we're basically ninjas, but with this sort of modern day twist, is awesome and a cool part of the movie. But you're right, they're not there because he's got $7 million or $14 million on his head. They're there because the adjudicator comes and hires them to go do it
because she calls in their loyalty.
No, I know, but Brad's point is the end of the last movie was every assassin is going to want to kill him, and then that isn't this movie.
And there's some people who are like, meh, I still want to make sushi.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think the idea that he's got some friends who kind of want to help him, or at least aren't going to move against him, makes sense. Like, you want that, but yeah.
Also, another action sequence we didn't really talk about in the historical weapons museum. With the axes and shit.
Oh, yeah, with the knives.
Knives scene.
That's what I meant by the first one, but I guess it's the second one.
No, the biggest laughs that I saw in that, that I heard in that movie were when knife.
Yeah, it was just brutal.
It was intense.
And you get the, maybe this movie's pencil to the neck, which is that guy getting the eye to the knife to the eye.
Yeah. And I love how they used
right up at the beginning.
And the concierge being utilized finally for an action scene. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
And
the whole shotgun section is fucking brutal, but exhausting.
Is Lawrence Fishburne too
shitty? Yeah.
No, he's not. Shut up. He's fun.
He's pretty shitty.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Poorly written, poorly executed, not very interesting in this movie.
That's why he knows exactly what he's doing.
Hated every moment he's on screen.
Cities filled with assassins tease for the fourth movie.
Yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Best part of Lawrence Fishburne in this movie is Jason Mantzoukas in this movie.
Yes. TikTok.
I wish they had murdered. I was glad when they murdered Lawrence Fishburne because I thought maybe they would give his job to fucking Mantzoukas. Yeah.
I have more fun with this than you guys apparently. But
No.
We're allowed to not like it
because again, this movie is great.
You weren't allowed to like it.
This movie is great
really
for what it's supposed to be.
I really liked it.
Like, I really like this movie. The storytelling is fucking dog shit awful.
Agreed.
The action is the reason I'm there. My problem is, it's not quite as good as 2. Like, these movies are great. I will go see a fourth one.
Oh, yeah.
These movies are great.
Okay.
The world is stupid.
No.
They need to have less of that. And, like, the next movie just needs to be like, no, literally, they just killed his dog this time.
Also, the raid guys at the end, plenty of chances to kill John Wick, and I guess they don't out of respect.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Which kills the tension of the fight.
It does.
So I'm like, well, I guess Wick's just going to win because they're not going to kill him.
Even out of how cool the belt moment is, it takes something out of that because they just let him go. Like,
there's too much meta in that moment where they're like, I get it. Yeah. They're the guys from the raid. I fucking get it.
Yeah, right.
And how many times did Wick fall backwards into a thing of glass?
That was great.
That was
though he never took.
It's one of those where it gets funnier if you do it 20 times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. The fact that he never got a chance to take a crystal skull and smash it into somebody's head.
Yeah, that was lost opportunity.
Is the metaphor of missed opportunities that is John Wick 3.
Yeah.
Like that is exactly, because even the TikTok Mr. Wick isn't executed in this movie. Like that isn't what this movie ends up.
It doesn't.
being.
It's not the race against time.
Yeah, like
that
this
I
should have
thought
been
movie
the John
would be.
Wick comes home, the Jason Bourne comes home
Yeah.
moment of he just has to get across the city to Halle Berry, and he's got to fight through. Like if it had been kind of like that sequence with Common where they're shooting at each other in the train thing, but it was that where because even in that one, he ends up killing, like, that's when the pencil thing is. Like, if it was that where he's just randomly killing assassins for the first hour as he tries to get to Halle Berry to get some help.
Or he's like in the middle of some kind of safe lull in the fight, and all of a sudden someone you don't expect to be an assassin shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we needed less story and more... Like, this was one where you set up the movie in the last one. So all you had to do was tell us, okay, his idea is to get over there, and there's people who want to kill him everywhere. Anyway.
If I had to pick
it's really fun. He murders a lot of people.
I will say that whole man above the high table walking through the desert thing was my least favorite part of this film.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't need it. I needed him to just go back and face the adjudicator. That's all I fucking needed.
That scene made me wish I had to pee again.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say this, though, like, that movie is way too fucking long, though. Like, the first one is a slick hour and 40 minutes. The second one's just about 2 hours, which is fine. This one didn't need an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah. No.
And that's my
especially for less story.
That's the biggest mark I have against it. Like, I don't need 2.5 hour movies every time. Not everything has to be Avengers.
Speaking of missed opportunities, when he finally kills Sushi Guy, and
that was fun.
Who's fun because he's like, I'm
such a fan.
I'm still gonna get through this, and then his response is just, "No, you won't." Like, it was a great spot for a one-liner that, wasn't great.
Isn't there? Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be like 2, where he's like, "Sure."
Also, missed opportunities. After 3 of these movies, when he's out in the desert and they give him the opportunity of a bath, I really wanted John Wick's hair to get less greasy, like.
That's never going to happen.
That's part of why it's exhausting is to just look at how gross he is right now. Like, because especially they remind you in the movie that it's basically been like a week and a half since his dog died.
Yep.
Like, all of this just keeps happening. He should have taken a shower. It would have been great if the third act of this movie started with him looking cleaned up and nice and then ended with him covered in blood and sweat. But anyway, Ryan texted a review really quick, which was my review of John Wick 3. Awesome fight scenes. The world building and actual script are not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like every John Wick movie, though, fun but flawed. 4 out of 5. So the script is not good. 4 out of 5 stars.
Agreed.
Which is exactly right.
But I'm eternally fascinated with that world. So
it's
I
great.
don't know. Like, it is literally just a me thing.
I just hope they come up with like I think Atomic Blonde is a better John Wick movie than John Wick 3.
I
I
actually agree.
Yeah.
And I haven't rewatched Atomic Blonde in a while.
You should.
I love the
It's
film.
pretty good.
From what I remember of it. But
this world is hotels and no police.
Yes.
All hotels and no police.
I do love that the like super elite guards at the end show up in a Greyhound bus.
Yeah.
Like which they were kind of underwhelming. I wish that was
that scene
cooler.
That scene was tough to watch because it's just like it's all neon. It's very dark, and like I don't like those scenes usually to begin with.
Yeah.
Like they make me nervous, but like. Thankfully it ends at some point. We get back to bright lit rooms where he's kicking ass.
It was also a little less stylistic. Like the first and second one, you have more of those like, cool club scenes and like some fun, interesting environments for them to be fighting in.
That's where the second one shines.
Yeah. This one, just is not quite as good.
So relentless.
You get that underwater
murder
was
though.
Fun. That was cool.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
But again, Sushi Guy's standing right there.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yes. No. There's
has himself to blame.
You're watching the movie to watch John Wick murder people. This is a happy good time murder simulator video game. That's just what it is.
If you want these stories to get better, which they should get better somehow, that's why the TV show would be a good idea, because you'd probably get writers outside of who's doing the movie world.
I don't want the story to get better. I want it to be less. The reason I come to these movies is, him murdering people is the stupid story of Fantastic Four, or Fast and Furious. The reason I'm here is to watch John Wick murder people with good intention, well choreographed.
Okay.
That's what these movies are.
That's fair.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, if you infuse it with a whole bunch of silly, all you get is Angelica Houston getting her hand stabbed. I don't know what's happening. And maybe I'm saying unfair. Yeah, you could go put a good story in here. They seem ill-equipped to do that.
Oh yeah, no, because that's not their focus,
right?
Which is fine.
So if that's not what they're going to do, I don't need it. The problem with the first movie was everybody was like, "What the fuck is this coin shit?" And then
because it's a
got
video
used
game.
to it. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, John Wick 3. What do we see next week? John Wick 4?
I think it's Aladdin.
Or Brightburn.
Yeah. The problem with Aladdin is it's getting good reviews.
So let's go
People
watch
are saying
Brightburn.
it's not that bad. So yeah. I mean, I want to see both of them. Now, there is a 35% chance that birth happens between now and then. So you guys just decide what you're saying, and maybe
the
I'll
Nicole
be there.
Kidman movie Birth?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going to happen again? I'm just kidding. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.
Aladdin.
Anyway, cool.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
no.
Or Brightburn.
Yeah,
It was
whatever.
Brightburn.
See us at Denver Pop Culture Con live Saturday, 5:30.
Come get a pint glass and a T-shirt at our booth.
Yeah.
Come do an interview. Why
Because
not?
they're awesome.
We bought protective boxes, so you don't have to worry about your glass being crushed in your bag.
You're welcome, America.
It'll look cool. People will come by and be like, "What's in that cool box you got?" And you'll be like,
"Take a look
it's mine."
inside.
Let me see your coin.
Oh man, we should have challenge coins made.
If you want a
That'd be
T-shirt
cool.
and a cup and a glass, you've got to have a marker. You
Yeah.
can't have just a coin.
We need to sell Real Nerds challenge coins. That'd be awesome.
Actually, speaking of Pop Culture Con, this just came in. We're moderating some panels.
Oh wow!
So
Is this an email requesting that we moderate panels, and you're assuming that we're going to do them?
no, it's the follow-up. We have the schedule.
Oh, okay.
We've been assigned. One of us will be moderating the Magicians panel at 11:30 on Saturday, and then Dan Fogler's spotlight 12:30 on Saturday. So that will definitely be two different people, two different nerds. Lana Parrilla spotlight from Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
1 p.m. So a third nerd. Holy crap!
All on Saturday?
All on Saturday. Then our own show, 5:30, obviously, and then on Sunday, Cooper Andrews from Shazam and Walking Dead at 3 p.m. So
cool,
crazy. We will have to figure out how or if that's
Not
going
it.
to work. Yeah,
Not
right.
it.
I
may not even be there.
I have to think long and hard because I got really anxious and nervous. So, but I guess I'll end up doing it.
I'm just yeah.
There's three of them, so it's you and Ryan.
if it's just me and Ryan doing them, then
right by the day, the chances I'm there is getting less. So, but we'll see. I mean, my highest priority is that I'm there for the show.
Henry's trying to come. So.
Yeah, he's a maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my biggest priority is that I'm there for the live show, and then
I guess whoever does the first one could do the third one,
right?
Because enough time will pass so you could get across.
Right.
Yeah. I just
Well, we'll just
as long as I know what I'm talking about on the panel, I'll be fine. Because I had that issue come up last year. So.
Right.
Yep, do your research.
You'll do fine.
Well, it was only with one of them. Two of them I was fine.
Yeah.
The middle one I did, I got thrown into it last minute. So
yeah,
I want to make sure that I actually know what the fuck is going on.
Either way, it'll work out.
Yeah. But anyway.
Cool. Thanks, guys. John Wick. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.